For 95% of human history, there was no such thing as a king, no president, no CEO. If a single person in the tribe tried to boss everyone else around, the group had a name for that, a bully, and bullies didn't survive long. Most people picture prehistoric leadership as one strong man, pointing a spear, giving orders. But anthropologist Christopher Boehm spent decades studying hundreds of hunter-gatherer societies. His conclusion overturned a century of assumptions. Early human groups weren't ruled. They were watched, constantly, by everyone. Boehm called this a reverse dominance hierarchy. In most animal groups, the strongest individual dominates the rest. But in early human bands, the group dominated any individual who tried to rise above them. If someone got too bossy, too greedy, too controlling, the tribe had tools to stop them. Not weapons first, words first, gossip, public mockery, exclusion from the fire, and only as an absolute last resort, execution. This wasn't chaos. This was a system specifically designed to prevent kings from ever forming. In the 1960s, anthropologist Richard Lee lived among the Jew/Hoansi, a hunter-gatherer people in the Kalahari Desert. He once brought back a large ox as a gift, expecting gratitude. Instead, the tribe insulted it. "This bag of bones. You call this meat?" Confused, Lee later asked why. The answer reshaped how anthropologists understood leadership. Among the Jew/Hoansi, a great hunter is deliberately humiliated. Every time. Not because the tribe doesn't value the meat, but because pride is dangerous. One elder explained it directly to Lee. If a young man feels superior, he starts thinking of the rest as inferior. And a man who thinks he's a chief will eventually act like one. So the tribe insulted the meat every single time to keep the hunter's ego small. This is one of the earliest recorded examples of a society actively engineering humility as a defense against tyranny. So if bragging got punished, how did anyone lead at all? In 2001, researchers Joseph Henrich and Francisco Gil-White proposed an answer. They identified two completely different routes to influence. The first, dominance, power through force, threats, and fear. The second, prestige, power freely given, because people respect your skill or knowledge. In small hunter-gatherer tribes, dominance rarely worked long-term. The group had too many tools to punish a bully. But prestige worked differently. If you were the best tracker, the best storyteller, the person who calmed conflicts, people voluntarily listened to you. Not because they had to, because they chose to. Among the Yanomami people of the Amazon, anthropologists observed something striking. The tribal headman had almost no formal power. He couldn't order anyone to do anything. Instead, he led through example. He worked harder than everyone else, volunteered for the most dangerous tasks first. His influence existed only as long as the group agreed he'd earned it. The moment he stopped earning it, his influence disappeared. No vote, no ceremony, just silence, where authority used to be. For roughly 290,000 years, this fragile, earned system of leadership held. Then something changed the equation completely. Farming. Once humans settled permanently and began storing surplus grain, leadership stopped being just about trust. It became about controlling resources. One of the clearest archaeological signals of this shift comes from Varna, in modern-day Bulgaria. In 1972, archaeologists uncovered a 6,500-year-old burial ground. Most graves were simple, but one, labeled Grave 43, contained something extraordinary. Gold ornaments, weapons, jewelry, more gold than had been found anywhere else in the world at that time. This wasn't earned prestige. The man in Grave 43 was buried with wealth. He likely inherited, not earned through skill or generosity. For the first time in the archaeological record, power appeared to be passed down, not proven. This is widely considered one of the earliest signs of inherited social rank in human history. The bully the old system was built to stop had finally found a way around it. Property. Here's the uncomfortable part. The reverse dominance hierarchy worked because everyone in the tribe could see everyone else. Gossip only works in small groups. Public shaming only works when the group eats together, sleeps together, hunts together. But once farming allowed populations to grow into the thousands, that social visibility disappeared. You could no longer track the reputation of every single person in your community. Boehm's own research suggests this is the exact moment. Dominance-based leadership crept back in. Not because humans changed, because the mechanism that used to stop bullies stopped functioning at scale. The tools tribes once used against tyranny, gossip, mockery, collective punishment, simply couldn't reach a population of thousands. Kings didn't emerge because humans became more accepting of power. Kings emerged the moment humans became too many to watch each other closely enough to stop it. For nearly 300,000 years, our ancestors built an entire social system with one single purpose: stop any one person from gaining too much control. They mocked their best hunters. They gossiped about the ambitious. They exiled the greedy. It worked for longer than any government in history has ever lasted. Then, in the span of a few thousand years, it quietly disappeared. Not because we decided kings were a good idea, but because we grew too large to stop them. So maybe the real question isn't, how did ancient humans choose their leaders? Maybe it's this: if our ancestors spent 290,000 years building defenses against unchecked power and lost that system the moment we stopped watching each other closely, what exactly is still watching? The people in charge of us today?